Humanity's thirst for knowledge led to our greatest triumph and our ultimate downfall. We opened the door to worlds beyond our comprehension. But from that door, an unimaginable evil called the Root slipped through and destroyed everything.
With the 2022 Game Awards airing a while back, the Remnant 2 trailer was dropped, announcing a sequel to a big sleeper hit, the first game, Remnant from the Ashes. Fans of the series are excited as it's one of the best co-op games for a Souls-like experience. Many players have praised the game's challenging combat, unique world building, and co-op gameplay mechanics. Some have also commended the game's replayability factor, as it offers procedurally generated levels that provide a different experience each time, something that is rarely seen from AA and AAA games nowadays. This is what truly separates and makes the game stand out from others in this genre. However, some players have criticized the game's lack of story, depth, and character development, as well as technical issues and bugs. Overall though, Remnant from the Ashes has received generally favorable reviews from both players and critics alike. If you're unfamiliar, the game is being developed by Gunfire Games, known for their immersive world and attention to detail. Remnant 2 builds upon the foundation laid by the first game with deeper world building, more engaging characters, and new gameplay mechanics. The game is set a decade after events of the first game, seeing the world being plunged into chaos again, this time by a new threat looming on the horizons. Player will take on the role of a survivor, exploring the dangerous world filled with monstrous creatures and deadly enemies. But what do we know about it so far? Let's take a closer look at this upcoming game set to release later this year. Story improvements in Remnant 2 that offers plenty of replayability in comparison to the first game. The story was just one linear path. This time, each biome has its own storyline and outcome that is persistent through them all while being completely random from what someone else may experience.
That we randomize the storyline. So if you go in and you fight a mini-boss, and another player goes in and fight a mini-boss in an area, they might have a completely different boss. You might have different events, there's different random events that occur in the game. The main reason we wanted to do procedural generation because we didn't want people to experience the same thing twice. I have an anecdote where I can't play a game more than once for some reason. If I've done something, I can't do it again. The huge incentive here was hey, I want to make a game that I would actually play through more than once.
This adds to the unpredictability and excitement of each playthrough while still maintaining a cohesive storyline. There are unique encounters called injectables, meaning that even if a friend and I got the same dungeon within the same biome, my friend may get the spawn while I don't see it in my own playthrough. So even if you watch someone else's playthrough, play it yourself, or then join a friend for co-op, no experience will be the same. Even the tutorial level will be different. If this is anything like the first, you can expect its easy drop-in or out co-op experience. Friendly fire will be making its return too. This will be even more crucial on increased difficulties, so make sure to watch your fire and communicate with your team. New weapons and abilities. Returning armor in the game from the first, you'll be happy to hear that the radiant armor will be back. A large variety of starting guns to choose from, and the melee weapon is much more responsive. Players can now customize their loadout to suit their playstyle and even upgrade their weapons with special mods that provide unique bonuses. Some returning mods are getting revamped, providing additional benefits. For example, the Hot Shot mod will reload your guns, and there's even a firing range for you to test it out now. There are more than just one relic in this game, unlike the first with just the dragon heart, different ones healing you in different ways. Which now brings us to fragments. You can slot these into your relics, granting you additional bonuses. You are not limited with your starting class like the first game, where there were a few mods you could pick from, only locked to that specific archetype. Now you can pick one of 4 as a starting mod. Primary class you can change at any given time as you acquire new archetypes. Now, it's possible to equip 2 classes at once with the newly introduced dual archetype. Make sure to mix and match if you want to create your perfect build, instead of limiting yourself to just one. Based on your archetype, you'll have a unique trait tied to it too, which levels up as you earn XP for free. Once you max it out, it'll become available on every build. Remember traits, I'll explain more on that later. You can have your own furry companion with the handler archetype, who is able to revive you if you're running solo or with teammates if you have a squad. Best of all, your dog friend here cannot die. In Remnant 2, you'll want to make sure your gear is upgraded as you go, as it counts towards your power level, and there are minimum level requirements in the areas you'll come across. Plus, it will affect the quality drop of the relic fragments you can get. There are now aberrations, which are stronger elite enemies with modifiers, offering unique rewards upon defeat. Traits are back, and everybody starts with the same 4 traits. Instead of grinding for experience to gain more points, it will be through finding and killing mini bosses, aberrations which we mentioned earlier, and bosses. Resources now will primarily be found from looting chests unlike before, your regular ones in addition to special chests that offer more rewards. There's auto pickup for scrap as long as you're within range, so you don't have to worry about that anymore. Another welcome change, you will no longer have to worry about managing your stamina bar, slowing you down until you're in combat, making it easier to traverse the world compared to the first. Of course, we can't talk about Remnant 2 without mentioning the graphics. The game looks stunning, with detailed environments and stunning visual effects that really bring the world to life. The game's art style is also worth mentioning, with a gritty, post-apocalyptic aesthetic that perfectly captures the game's tone. Another big change from the first is the UI and map overhaul. This game will now utilize a 3D map instead of a 2D one found in the first game. This is a much welcome change, as I found myself lost in Geisha at one point when I was on my first playthrough of the game. With all of these things in mind, Remnant 2 is shaping up to be an exciting and engaging game with a compelling story, challenging gameplay, and stunning graphics. If it can build upon the strength of its predecessor, I'm sure it will be a hit with fans of the series and newcomers alike, and I definitely can't wait to get my hands on it.